What's up, sixth graders? This is lesson 4, day 2, and we are going to be solving some problems with equivalent ratios and unit rates, so be ready to go. Now, first thing, make sure you have your math book open and on page 28. If you don't, pause the video and go get it. Second thing, make sure when you're watching this video, if I give you directions to solve some problems and pause it, I want you to do that because you're going to learn from mistakes. Remember, as always, if you're not sure, give it your best shot. If you're wrong, so what? When you go over it, you'll fix your mistake as long as you learn from it. All right, so now we are going to get started. So I'm going to tell you what we're going to do on page 28 and 29. On 28, I'm going to show you two strategies where it says model it that you can use to solve unit rate or ratio problems. Then when we get to page 29, you're going to be working on some problems on your own, giving it your best shot, and then watching the video to go over and make corrections. All right, so let's get started. First off, follow along with me at the top of page 28. It says, Isabella buys 4 pounds of tomatoes for $6. I'm going to underline that. 4 pounds of tomatoes for $6. The question says, how much do 7 pounds of tomatoes cost and how much do 10 pounds of tomatoes cost? So we have to figure that out. The cost of 7 pounds and the cost of 10 pounds. Based on the information that we know 4 pounds of tomatoes cost $6. So now, let's start here. It says, you know that 4 pounds of tomatoes cost $6. If you divide both quantities in this ratio by 2, you'll find that 2 pounds cost $3. If you divide both quantities in the ratio 3 to 2 by 2, you'll find that 1 pound cost $1.50. This is the unit price or the price for 1 unit. Here, the unit happens to be pounds. So let me just explain what they were just talking about. So we start with the ratio, 4 pounds of tomatoes for $6, which they gave us. $6 for 4 pounds right there. So the first thing they said is if you divide both quantities in this ratio by 2. So let me do that. If you divide, I'll switch to green here. If you divide 4 by 2, you get 2, right? So then if you divide 6 by 2, you get $3. So by doing that trick, we know that 2 pounds of tomatoes cost $3. Now let me erase some of my ink here. Now the next thing they said, I'm sorry, I'm getting kind of loud here. If you divide both quantities in the ratio 3 to 2 by 2, so I'm going to do that. So let's take a look at this ratio. If we divide 2 by 2, we get 1. If we divide $3 by 2, you get $1.50. And they said this is the unit price. And a unit price is the price for 1 item. And in this case, an item is 1 pound. All right, now you might be wondering, what the heck does this have to do with, let me erase this and clean it up, with answering the question? Because remember the question said, how much do 7 pounds cost? We still don't have that. And how much do 10 pounds cost? We still don't have that. Well, the thing is, we can use especially the unit price. We can use that to figure out any price for any number of pounds of tomatoes. But there are also some other tricks that we can use to fill in the rest of this table. So this is where we're going to go down to the model it strategy. So, different tricks to find out the price of different pounds of tomatoes. So I'm going to go through each one, and I just want you sticking with me, and you can fill in your table as I fill in mine. But just don't blindly copy and daydream. Make sure you're listening. So here's what we have down here. To figure out 3 pounds, we know 2 pounds plus 1 pound is 3 pounds, right? 2 plus 1 is 3, basic. So add their corresponding cost. $3 plus $1.50 is $4.50. So here's what they're saying. If you add 1 plus 2, you get 3, right? So you can do $1.50 plus $3 and get $4.50. So that's one way you could use the table to find out one of those prices. All right. Now let me clear away some of this marking here. So what about if we go to 5 pounds? So check this out. So we know, here's 5 pounds. We know that 2 pounds plus 3 pounds equals 5 pounds. So watch this. if I add 2 plus 3, I get 5, right? So if I add 3 plus 450, I'll get 750, which is how much 5 pounds cost. Pretty darn cool, I think. All right, so now let me get rid of some of my markings here. Oops, I erased a little bit of 450. I'll fix that up. And I'm going to write this in blue because I have a little bit of OCD. All right, so let's continue. So we have up to 5 pounds. Now what about 6 pounds? Now in this one, you'll notice you don't have to add two amounts together. So for this one, check this out. 6 pounds we know is 2 pounds by 3. 2 times 3 is 6, correct? So let's go up here. If we know 2 times 3 is 6, can't we do $3 times 3 and get $9? Well, yes, we can. So notice all I'm doing is I'm combining, oops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm combining previous things that we found out, either through addition or multiplication, to find out future ones. So let's move on. Let me switch colors here. Let's use brown. Okay, so let's talk about 7 pounds. I know 5 pounds plus 2 pounds is 7, right? So let's go here. If 5 plus 2 gives me 7, that means 750 plus 3 will give me 1050. Okay, now let me show you another cool thing. You don't have to do 7 and 2. I'm just going to show you real quick. Find 2 other things that add up to 7. Maybe you're going to do, get my pen on again. Maybe you want to do 4 plus 3, because isn't 4 plus 3 7? Well, $4.50 plus $6 is $10.50. So you still get $10.50 there. Okay, are you starting to see how this works? So let's do 8, 9, and 10. So 8 pounds. In this one, I mean, you could do 5 pounds plus 3 pounds if you want. Or they say if you multiply 4 pounds by 2, you'll get 8, right? So let's go up here. Let's go to 4 pounds, which, let me clean this up here. So 4 pounds times 2. 4 times 2 gives us 8. So let's do 6 times 2, which is 12. All right. We'll do 9 down here. So they're saying 9 is 4 pounds plus 5 pounds. I guess you could also do 3 pounds times 3, right? So let's add up 4 and 5 pounds. So let me get my eraser here, clean this up a little bit. So 4 plus 5 gets us 9. So 6 plus 750 gets us 1350. Holy smokes. And last, 10 pounds. Well, let's see how they chose to do down here. They're saying 1 pound times 10. So let's go here. Let's go back to 1 pound and you multiply it by 10. So then you do 150 times 10 and you get $15. So did you see all of the different tricks we could use to fill in that table? Now remember the answer to the question was, how much do 7 pounds of tomatoes cost? So we know 7 pounds, I'm going to put a box around it, cost $10.50. And the other question said, how much do 10 pounds of tomatoes cost? So we know 10 pounds costs $15. Now, we did not need all of the other equivalent ratios on the table, but I just wanted to show you how you can use adding or multiplication to figure out all of those different numbers, if you have a ratio table, that is. All right, so let's go on to the next page. All righty. So now, here's what you are going to do. You are going to try, by your lonesome, number 2 through 6. And you're going to pause the video while you do them. Remember, if it says to explain or it says it wants you to write a couple sentences, make sure you give me a couple sentences. If it doesn't say to explain or doesn't want you to talk about your thinking, you might just have to write your answer or show your work. All right? So you're using, these questions are based on the table that we just used. All right. Pause the video do 2 through 6, go. All right, 6th graders. So as I go through these problems, I'm going to answer 2 through 6. I have a copy of the table from the previous page here to reference, so I don't have to be flipping back and forth. So number 2 says, what ratio is given in the problem? So if you remember, the original ratio they told us is that it was $6 to 4. 6 to 4 for 4 pounds. Now you could just write that 6 to 4. Even if you said, let me go back to the previous page and make sure, see how it's written. So it says 4 pounds of tomatoes for $6. So it should be 4 to 6 actually. Sorry about that. I guess I've got to read the problem. So this one should be 4 to 6. All right, number 3, explain how to use this ratio to find the unit price. Now I'm going to explain how I did it, and it might be different from yours, but if yours works, you don't have to change it. So for me to find the unit price, I know, since it's $6 for 4 pounds, I want to know the price of 1 pound. So I know if I divide both by 4, that will get me the price for 1 pound. Because think about it, 4 divided by 4 gets me 1. So I just do $6 divided by 4, which gets me 150. So I'm going to say, if you divide $6 by 4 pounds, you'll get the unit price. Which is $1.50. $1.50 for a pound. Okay. Remember, if you had it wrong, change it. If you had it right in different words, keep it. Pause the video whenever you need to. So let's talk about number 4. It says, how can you use the unit price to find the cost of 7 pounds of tomatoes and 10 pounds of tomatoes? Find the cost. Now, we already have the cost in this table, right? So, but I'm going to show you. Remember how we went through, we added like 2 pounds and 3 pounds to get 5 pounds. We went that long way. So I want to show you how you can just use the unit price. So let me go back here. So remember, we know 1 pound is $1.50. Once you get the unit price, think of it like a key that unlocks any door in a house. You can just multiply any number of pounds by the unit price of $1.50. So for example, if I want to find the price of 7 pounds, I do 7 times the unit price. If I want to find the price of 10 pounds, I do 10 times the unit price. So multiply the unit price by any number of pounds. So it wants me to explain that. So you just need to multiply the pounds of tomatoes by the unit price. And then I'm going to actually do that. I'll switch to blue to make it easier to see. So 7 times $1.50 equals $10.50. And we did 10 times the unit price of $1.50 equals $15. Okay? So remember, however you explained, if it works, you don't have to change it. But if you had it wrong, then you could pause the video and make corrections. All right, so let's continue. Let's go to number 5. Let me move this down here. Okay, so now 5 says, when might you make a table of equivalent ratios to solve a problem? When might you find the unit price and multiplication to solve a problem? I guess they mean find the unit price and use multiplication to solve a problem. Okay, so this is something you can answer any way you want. So I'm going to think of when I might need make a table of equivalent ratios. Okay, so I'm going to say I might make a table with equivalent ratios if I need to find the cost of many different amounts. So here's what I mean by that. Like if I need, maybe I'm in a situation where I need to know the cost of a pound of tomatoes, of 3 pounds, of 6 pounds, of 8 pounds, of 4 pounds, of 10 pounds. And I don't want to have to figure it out every single time. If I just have a table with a bunch of them, I can just figure them out and have them in a table and just look at them to save myself some time. So that's what I meant there. So then the next part says, when might you find the unit price and multiplication to solve a problem? Okay. So I'm thinking, let's say I need to find the price of a lot of pounds, like let's say 100 pounds. Do I really want to make a table that goes from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, all the way up to 100? No, I'll be there all day. So in that case, I can just multiply 100 by the unit price. So I'm going to try to explain that in a sentence here. Okay, I'll switch to blue here. If I need to find the cost of a large amount, it's easy to find the unit price and multiply. Think about it. Now that I know the unit price in this table is $1.50, if I want to find the price of 100 pounds, just do 100 times $1.50. If I want to find the price of, I don't know, 1,123 pounds, I could just multiply 1,123 by $1.50. Remember, that unit price is kind of key to everything. All right, last one you had to do here, let me move this table down, was number 6. And it says, explain how you can find the amount of tomatoes that you can buy with $18. Now, what I'm going to do is, I am thinking if I wanted to find for $18, and there's many different ways you could do this, but I know I can add on to my table here. So I can just say, each one of these was going up by $1.50, right? $1.50, $1.50, $1.50. So I can say 15 plus $1.50 is $16.50. And $16.50 plus $1.50 is $18. And that would be 12 pounds of tomatoes. Now, there are lots of ways you can figure that answer out. I am just showing you one way. So mine says, explain how you can find the amount of tomatoes that you can buy with $18. I'm just going to explain what I just did. I'm going to say, you can extend the table and add $1.50 onto the price until you get to $18. Okay, that's all I did. But you might have done it a different way. Okay, so now you are done with me. Let me move this table out of the way here. You are done with me for those questions. But now, here's the last thing you are going to do. You are going to do 7 and 8 on your own. Now, these have nothing to do with tomatoes. These are two different situations. You can make a table, but you need to show your work somewhere, whether it's on a separate sheet of paper. So let's read the directions. It says, use what you've just learned about unit price to solve these problems. Show your work on a separate sheet of paper. So do 7 and 8 on your own. You only have to write your answer. You don't have to explain. As soon as you are done. So you're going to pause the video while you do them, and as soon as you're done, restart your video. Go. All right, so let's check this one out. It says, Mrs. Cisneros bought 3 yards of ribbon for $1.50. how much would 5 yards of the same ribbon cost? Now remember, I might do this a totally different way than you did, as long as you get the answer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the unit price. So it's $1.50 for 3 yards of ribbon. So if I divide by 3, remember, if I divide $1.50 by 3, I'll get the unit price. So $1.50 by 3 is 50 cents. So that means it's going to be 50 cents for 1 yard of ribbon. Now, remember, that unit price is key, because once you know what 1 yard costs, you can figure out what any yard costs. So if I know it's 50 cents for 1 yard, I just have to multiply that by 5 yards, and I'll know the cost of 5 yards, which is $2.50. So your answer for number 7 should be $2.50. Now, if you did it a different way, that's absolutely okay. Now, what I'm going to do for 8 is I'm going to solve this one, but I'm going to do it a different way instead of finding the unit price. All right. So this says, Jack bought 4 bagels for $3. How many bagels can he buy for $4.50? So in this one, I'm going to do kind of a ratio table. Okay, kind of a messy ratio table. Put a bunch of columns in, and it's going to be cost for bagels. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bagels. And they give us the ratio. Jack bought 4 bagels for $3. So 4 bagels is $3. Now, what I know is this. I'm just going to, remember how we kind of filled in some other ratios on that table on the other page? I'm going to start doing that. I know if I divide both of these by 2, I'll get how much 2 bagels cost, because 4 divided by 2 is 2. And $3 divided by 2 is $1.50. Now remember, that's not the answer. This wants to know how many bagels can he buy for $4.50. But here's the other thing. I'm going to switch to green for this. I know if I add $1.50 and $3, I get $4.50, right? So if I add 2 plus 4, I get 6 bagels for $4.50. So how many bagels can he buy for $4.50? He can buy 6 bagels. So remember, you probably did that a whole different way, which is okay, or if you did it my way, that's okay as well, as long as you have 6 bagels for your answer. All right, guess what? You are done with me. So make sure if you made any mistakes, you pause the video and go back and fix them. Other than that, thank you for watching.